Welcome to episode 19 of Aldog's Family Newsletter. Every time I say I'm shadow banned and I hope you know I'm not really serious. What I will say is I'm not just going to do this without thinking about it. So retention curve drops off real quick. I might change a couple things up. Baby news might come at the end. But this is a review of Black Kite Brewery's Cold IPA.
A few moments later.
So that was my review of the Black Kite beer. So I'm splitting up content, so two birds with one stone. So link that in the description. Yeah, it's gonna be a real pain to edit this episode. It's all over the place. Done very little planning, but look, my partner, baby mama, she said she'll watch my videos on 2.5 speed or whatever, and she'll say, oh, you didn't tell me this story. And that's because I save it for the podcast. But this is a story that we both experienced firsthand. So last week we went to Repulse Bay, and that's a beach, and I call it Repulse because people call it Repulse, but it should definitely be called Repulse, right? Because that's the word, Repulse. Anyway, we take a taxi there, and I booked the taxi on the app. And when you book a taxi on the app, the taxi driver will call you, just confirm it and say, I'll be there in a couple minutes. And he spoke English at first, and then I spoke back, I replied in Chinese, and so, okay, Chinese. We get in the cab, all good, and we're driving. So we're almost there, and he kind of starts fumbling with his hands-free, and he puts his hands-free in, and then he starts talking in sort of like fair English, and then he starts saying, Italian 200 extra. And so I'm like, hang on, this was just in the news. You can't charge people extra, right? So straight away, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna report this guy, right? And then he says, Japanese 100 extra. So I'm like, what the heck is this guy running? So he's on the phone, obviously, to someone, like, I guess, organizing a trip, right? Then, oh, dude. Then he says, oh, he wants to speak to me? Okay, put him on. Then he starts talking Italian, dude. The Italian, I obviously don't speak Italian. It wasn't good Italian, right? He was just mumbling, oh, me see, come se. He did like that, right? But with the Chinese, it was funny. Not good. And honestly, he was making a lot up. Like, there was definitely a little bit of Spanish slipped in. So he goes to speak Italian, right? And he gets back on the phone to the original person calling, yeah, that's fine. They say it's okay. I'm like, all he said was like "CC, oh, ciao." He literally at the end of the when he finished the call with the Italian person, oh, ciao, mwah. Dude, okay, so then he's like, okay, that's fine. Then he says Japanese 150 extra, dude. He said 100 in the first place, so this guy's making it up. And this is not sometimes when you get a taxi, they've got like 8 phones and these, like the Star Trek Enterprise. This guy, he just had his one phone and he had the separate hands-free wired, not Bluetooth. He was doing the wires while he was driving, right? Big respect, dude. Italian, spoke Italian. I guess he speaks Japanese too, so that's awesome. I kind of had this segue in my head, so we'll start like this. I don't want to give away too much what I do, but I do stuff with cameras, and I met someone who I was like, I had to film someone. I was like, can you do this and that? And straight away, with full confidence, they were like, no, I can't do that. So fully confident that they're unconfident in front of camera, that they can't do something. Straight away, I was like, okay, I almost wrote it down. I was like, this is one thing that I want to make sure that my kid isn't, which is unconfident, because I want him to be confident. Here's the flip side, and that's why I talked about a segue. Almost every day I go to get breakfast, right? And I go through the market near my work, and there's a dim sum kind of takeaway store, and it's just run by, kind of older staff, and they kind of, it's quiet in the morning, right? So they just kind of potter around, get set up, and I'm very polite, as I said before, and I'll go in, and it's not high end, right? So it is what it is, and it's in the middle of a wet market. And this one day I went there, the lady who normally serves me, she was just having a chat, setting stuff up at the, facing away from the till. And so I'm just standing there kind of waiting until she sort of turns around and comes to serve me. This lady comes in behind me, picks whatever she wants off the shelf, and just goes, wait, 烧钱啊, serve me, take my money.
My accent is not so great anymore, but I do speak Cantonese. I spoke it as a kid. I mean, I grew up there, so.
Could you say something nice to me in Cantonese? I mean, really nice. Just for me to take home with me.
Diu lei lo mo.
I was like, first of all, jump the queue. Second of all, so rude. That's kind of what I want my kid to be. Just go and get what you want, man, because I'm a little bit too soft. That person was a little bit too unconfident. Oh, okay, listen, kid, don't be like that. That lady. I don't know if I should admit this, but if you're like going through rush hour traffic on the MTR, if someone bumps into you, or I never retaliate, right? Or, okay, so it's been raining a lot, and people in Hong Kong are the absolute worst when it comes to rain. So first of all, everyone magically is allergic to rain. And let me just segue by this. Sometimes we go to the public pool, right? So you go to the public pool for what? To swim. Before you get to the pool, there's what? A shower. So you wash yourself off before you get to the pool. People will literally bring umbrellas to not get wet to go through the shower and then get in the pool. Dude, it honestly blows my mind that some of these, like the mindset of some of these people. Anyway, so people are sitting with their umbrellas, and when it's raining, dude, I'm waterproof. And that's thanks to my watch. Everything's possible through Jesus Christ. So I'm waterproof, right? So if it's raining, unless it's like really raining, I don't do an umbrella, right? But everyone else will. So I'm trying to stay under the building cover, right? Because give me that, right? You've got your big umbrellas, and everyone's got big umbrellas. They'll be undercover with their umbrella, and I'll just be getting a bit wet, sort of like, oh, I've got an umbrella in my bag, can't be bothered. But they'll force me out, and the building edge has the heaviest rain, right? So if it's like slightly drizzling, it'll be heavier right at the edge of the building. They'll force me out there, dude. And that's when, like I said, I don't retaliate, but if I've ever thrown an extra one of these, or if I fantasized in my head of like one of these, right, Aaron? Or maybe even a purposeful one of those. That's what I wanted to do to that lady. Come up behind me trying to take the spot and being rude to the server? I've actually flipped it. Hey kid, be polite. Queue up. If you're in a queue, you should have been, you want to be in the queue, right? If you don't want to be in the queue, don't be in the queue. If you're in the queue, you're in the queue because you want to be. Wow, okay. Good beer. No, I'm kidding. It is a good beer. I'm not kidding about the beer. I'm kidding about getting drunk off half a beer. Now, lots of kid news this time actually, because his vocabulary is like exponential right now. A couple things he's been saying recently a lot. Like we'll say if I go like, "Are you hungry?" He'll go like, "Me too." Or like, "I'm gonna get a shower." Me too. He kind of means like, I'm also interested in this. But that's so cute. Me too. You say the way he says it's really cute. He used to say a couple things, and I was like, we should really get this on video because he'll stop saying it. And there's one thing he used to say I don't think I actually got on film, and I'm really sad because now we're trying to make him say it and he won't say it anymore. So that's one thing. You say "me too" a lot. He'll also say the other day he brought back a new toy that my parents bought him, and so we were like, "Oh, that's a new, who bought it for you?" And he went, yeah. He knew what the question meant and who bought it for him, and then he answered the question. So my kid's gifted. What else? Okay, here's another thing too. If you want screen time, and I've come to learn that this is really bad practice to use screen time as a reward, I'll be like, if you want to watch TV, you got to tidy up your toys a little bit. And after a little bit of coaxing, sometimes he'll actually do it. So I'm like, okay, like we're in business, right? Like this is great. He'll start tidying up. Recently though, he'll just be like sitting around playing, and then he'll just go like, tidy up, and he'll just start tidying up, dude. Oh, giving him a complex, but also so good for me because tidiness is next to godliness, and Gandhi said that. But yeah, my life crusade now is just to make him not confident in his inabilities, and that's a life lesson for me too. Like I took that. I'm like, man, I never want to be like, I never want to be that confident that I couldn't do something. So I've recommended Ted Lasso before, and it's coming to a close, and I feel that maybe they're trying to force a couple things to conclusion, which is fine. I don't know if it was an actual big factor, but one of the sort of inspirations for the kid's name was related to that show. So I said this before, this show isn't really for anyone else. It's really for like my kid if I get hit by a bus. So yeah, I'd like to actually say that he should be like a little bit like Ted, kind of polite, just a good person, and he shouldn't be like me. Be like Ted, don't be like me, and don't try to elbow grannies in the head. That's it. Shout outs to that taxi driver, arrivederci. And thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.